the Zodiac Killer cipher wrapped in blood. Few killers have embedded themselves into the American psyche quite like the Zodiac Killer. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, a faceless predator haunted Northern California, leaving a trail of blood-stained mystery that still baffles investigators today. His name? A moniker he chose himself, scrawled across his taunting letters, a twisted challenge to the authorities, a name that would become synonymous with fear. His reign of terror began on December 20, 1968, when high school sweethearts Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday were parked in a secluded area in Benicia, California. What started as a quiet, intimate evening ended in horror. The couple was gunned down execution style, their lives snuffed out before they had a chance to fight back. There was no warning, no apparent motive, just death. And it was only the beginning. 7 months later, on July 4, 1969, another couple, Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mudgeau, found themselves in the killer's crosshairs. As they sat in their car at Blue Rock Springs Park, a man approached, shining a flashlight before unleashing a barrage of gunfire. Miraculously, Michael survived, though wounded, and provided the first description of the attacker: heavy-set, possibly in his late 20s or early 30s, with short, curly hair. Yet even with this lead, the police were left in the dark. Then came the letters. 3 separate newspapers received cryptic messages from the killer, each one containing a piece of an elaborate cipher, a code that, when solved, was supposed to reveal his twisted philosophy. The Zodiac demanded his letters be printed, threatening to embark on an even deadlier spree if his words were ignored. The ciphers were complex, eerie, and chillingly precise. One of them, cracked by a schoolteacher and his wife, revealed a disturbing truth. "I like killing people because it is so much fun." The Zodiac craved attention. He relished the fear he induced in the public and the frustration he caused the police. And, disturbingly, he didn't stop. On September 27, 1969, he changed his method. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were enjoying an afternoon at Lake Berryessa when a hooded figure emerged from the trees. He wore a black executioner's hood with the now infamous Zodiac crosshair symbol emblazoned on his chest. Armed with a gun and a knife, he tied the couple up before savagely stabbing them. Brian survived, Cecilia did not. And then, with eerie calm, the killer walked away and called the police himself, his voice flat and emotionless as he reported the crime. The final confirmed attack came just weeks later. On October 11, 1969, cab driver Paul Stein was shot in the head in the Presidio Heights neighborhood of San Francisco. Killer wiped down the car and even took a piece of Paul's bloody shirt as a trophy, later mailing it to the police in yet another taunt. Despite composite sketches, mounting evidence, and an extensive manhunt, the Zodiac disappeared into the shadows. His ciphers, his letters, his chilling phone calls, everything stopped. Though over 2,500 suspects were investigated, no arrests were ever made. Was he a disturbed loner who died in anonymity? Or did he change his identity, melting into society, walking among us as an unassuming neighbor, co-worker, or stranger? To this day, some of his ciphers remain unsolved, potentially hiding the secrets of his true identity. Cryptographers, investigators, and amateur sleuths still search for the answers, hoping that one day the code of the Zodiac will finally be broken.